Hello and welcome back to my channel. So today I want to show you my beautiful and perfect sketchbook. I call it perfect because on the outside it looks like an old book, because it was at some point, and then on the inside it's all my favorite papers for all mediums that I like to paint with or draw with. So it was an old book like this that I found in my old bookshop. And they had like a sale, so you could like fill a bag with many books for like 10 euros or something. And it's absolutely so beautiful. And I tried to pick the books that were beautiful on the outside, but not very interesting on the inside. I don't know if that makes any sense, because it's so painful to watch and to actually cut through and like destroy a book. It's absolutely horrifying. But I wanted so badly a good sketchbook, and I chose pre-made covers, you could say. And this is my favorite tape that I use to conceal the edges or like mask the edges when I paint. It's much softer than other tapes that I've used. So you can see the outside here. None of the papers are clean cut. I wanted the rough edges out to make it look very handmade, because it is. And yeah, the outside has like this animal print cover, and on the inside you can see it has this beautiful, I don't know, pattern paper that they used to do back in the days, and every page is sealed with silk paper in between to protect the drawings and paintings. The first paper is for oil paints. It's Fabriano Tela. This paper I buy in loose sheets, and it's actually very cheap considering it's for oils. I'm not sure if it's the cheapest paint or paper for oils that I have found, but I absolutely love it. I feel like this is better than the alternatives, which are much more expensive. I like it because you have a beautiful texture, and it's so well sealed that the oil never pulls through the paper on the back side or at all. So there is no sinking oil holes or like weird blotching or patterns. The like sealing of the paper is very even. So also when I paint, you can see I will get the texture of the paint, which I feel like is a big important thing with oil paints, is that you can build texture with it. So I love that about this paper, and the colors come up very like exact and bright, and it doesn't like, I feel some other oil papers, they kind of suck the oil into them and it kind of becomes blotchy, and the colors aren't that bright as they are from the tube. So I absolutely love this paper, and I paid about 27 Norwegian kroner, which is about 250 euros for a big sheet, which I then cut into the right sizes. It's not expensive. And you can see this is the pattern of the paper to make it look like a canvas or something. So my first third of the book is for oils. And it's about equal amount of pages for each medium. So the oil section is a bit thicker because of natural reasons. The next section that I have is for watercolors, and I have two different kinds of paper. The first one is the Khadi white rag 302 grams rough paper. It's called white, but it's actually like greenish or off-white kind of, and it's very rough. This is just some ink, and I haven't used this paper too much because it's it's so rough, and it kind of works better, I think, in like bigger sizes and like bigger, more complex drawings or something, I don't know. And for watercolor, because it's not white, it kind of gets this gray cast over it. I don't like it so much, and it's kind of expensive. I paid 298 Norwegian kroner, which is about 30 euros on a bad day. Yeah, not a huge fan. Will not add it in the next sketchbook. This is my favorite for watercolor in a sketchbook, meaning that the Fabriano 5 is, I chose a lighter weight, which is 210 grams, which is perfect for sketchbook, I find. And it's so beautiful, and it's 50% cotton, 50% cellulose. So meaning when you paint on it, you get the cotton feel, and I absolutely love it. I feel this is better than the moleskin paper, which has less cotton. It's only 25%, but there's no blotching, which I find to be a problem with the moleskin one sometimes, but it's just for sketching, so it's not that big of a deal. But with this paper, there's no blotching, there's no weird things happening. I get the true watercolor experience on this paper for a much cheaper price, and I paid 58 Norwegian kroner, which is about €5, €5.50 for a big sheet, like 100 by 70 centimeters. And yeah, so I cut it now down to several pages from just one sheet. I don't think that is too expensive. And the last section is for drawing. I don't do a lot of drawing, but I like trying different mediums on a good paper. Now this is Fabriano Ingres, 90 grams, in several colors. This is kind of the equivalent paper to Metains by Canson, but because I live in Europe, I think Fabriano is much cheaper than the Metains one. Also, I find that the Fabriano one is a little bit smoother and have a different not texture, well, it has a different texture. It's smoother, not so rough, and it is stated as a pastel paper, I think, but I find it to work with not only pastels but like all the mediums. I have not tried like markers because I bet that will bleed through, but I'll try it maybe. I absolutely love this paper. I love how the smoothness is perfect for my taste. It's not as smooth as like Bristol paper or anything, but I think it's the perfect smoothness, and it's how it smudges charcoal or graphite. I find that very, very satisfying to draw on, and it's not expensive. I paid also, again, loose sheets, 16 kroner, which is about €1 to €1.50 per sheet, and they're big sheets. I always buy loose sheets because it's less expensive in the long run. And here you can see the texture, or like the print on it, you could say. The print is like inside of the paper, so it doesn't transfer to the paper. You won't draw and find those stripes annoying you when you draw on it, which is great. But I find it has like a vintage look or a vibe to it when you see the stripes, but then it doesn't transfer to the paper, or the drawing, which is fantastic. Again, this is oil pastel, and some of the oil does leak through because it's not intended for oils, I think, but it doesn't bother me at all, and I can paint or draw on the other side. I find it not problematic at all. There you can see a closer focused look of it. Yeah, I love oil pastel, but I find that this is a very versatile paper that comes in many colors. So my plan is to make another sketchbook, a little smaller one with just this paper, because I absolutely love it. And I chose these 4 colors: white, cream, light gray, and black. I've not used the black yet because I'm not used to drawing on black, but I think it's nice. So this is my absolutely favorite sketchbook that I've ever owned, and it was not that expensive overall because I chose to buy loose sheets and everything. And this is my other sketchbook that I usually use, because the problem with the big one is that it's so heavy when it's big, and also it has rough edges that are kind of fragile. So this is more my travel moleskin watercolor and paint, regular sketchbook. But I much prefer actually my big one. So yeah, that was it. I hope you like it and see you next time. Bye.